Hey friends, it's Megan, and I have just updated my book journal to reflect my reads of 2025. I wanted to kind of take you through it. So I did use this Beautiful Travelers one, and I've got two inserts. I'm actually going to take it apart just to show you. So I've got two inserts, and I'm just going to keep working on these in 2026. It's hard to say. Okay, so my Dear Gentle Reader here is the one you've probably seen flip throughs if you've been watching my channel of it. And so it is really just like my reading. It is my reading journal. So these are the books that I read in 2025. I read 50.5 books ultimately. And all of these I either did on camera or I talked about them. And then I kind of every 3 months just do kind of a fun page. But I'll briefly flip through, and then this is in a playlist on my channel here. And yeah, this was a really good reading year for me. I do count audiobooks too. So over half of these were probably audiobooks or a combination of audio and reading. All right, October, November, this is where you have seen two, and here is December. I love these like reading girl stickers, particularly because I love seeing representation in stickers. So these are my December reads. The Correspondent, 4.5 stars. A Quiet Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott, 4 stars. 5 stars for Little Women, which was, I call it a reread, but I don't think I actually read it before. I think it was read to me. And I don't know if the whole thing was read to me, but these two, very Christmas feels, really great together. I will actually, I wanted to send this to one of my friends, but there's some postage issues going on in different countries. So I read The Cold House by A.J. Slater. That was my first A.J. Slater, I believe. And it was meh. It was 3 stars. I liked the premise. I just didn't love the book. And then I See You Called in Dead. Really interesting story, fun premise, very witty, maybe a little too cutesy for me, or a little preachy at the end. 3.5 stars, but I definitely see what the hype is about. And so I've got all these pages. I'm going to come back to this page, which is like my top ones at the end, because I want to, show you this little insert. Should we do it that order? Yeah, let's do it that order. Okay, so there's that. And then my Please Call Me Cordelia. These were my favorite books, kind of the year. So my beloved books here. So Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is a reread. I read this as a teenager. It definitely rereads different to me. Gosh, over 20 years later. This is one of my all-time favorite books. Just straight up one of my favorite books. A Room with a View. I loved the movie. I remember watching the movie with my mom as a girl. The book reads similar, but I think you get a little bit more into her head. And I really identified with the main character a lot, even though I'm sure I'm closer in age to the aunt. Age of Innocence. I had not seen the film, or I've seen parts of it, but it wasn't what I thought it was. I really love the ending, which is poignant, painful, beautiful. I don't know. I love books with moral arcs. The film I thought was really well done. Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, come on, Michelle Pfeiffer, Winona Ryder, Get Out of Town, and the costumes and everything is a beautiful companion to the book. Really, I love when books and movies line up. Speaking of books and movies, Rebecca. I did read this one, I believe, in high school. My high school did a cool thing where they gave us a reading list and we got to pick from it in the summers and whatnot. And I think Rebecca was one of my reads then. I had seen the older movie. I have not seen the newer movie. I would like to see it because the older version is everything. The book, what I really liked about it was how there's a whole part before she gets to Mandalay, like, you know, of her who is the new Mrs. De Winter is never named. You never learn her name. But it was interesting reading that because you don't get that in in the older film adaptation at least. Secret Garden, childhood love. I loved this book. Beautiful card from one of my friends, Alex, that I am so glad to kind of immortalize in my journal here. And what struck me about this one this time around is how much of it is really the father and son story, and Mary as well, but there's a lot of Colin and Mr. Craven. Blue Castle, absolutely cannot shut up about this book. One of my favorite books of all time, instantly a favorite. This is by Lucy Maud Montgomery. I did read Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea this year. I'm making my way back through the Anne Shirley series, slowly but surely. Blue Castle is a standalone book with Valency. She is in her late 20s. I believe she's 29, and it is really refreshing to read something about like an older character. And the imagery in this book, if you love Avonlea, you'll love this. I love so many things about this book. This is one of my absolute favorite books I've ever read. I really identify with it. I identify with it so much. I just can't say enough. Yeah. Broken Country, one of my pen pals recommended this book. This one is so cinematic. It reads very much like a movie. I hope they do a film out of it. They do a film out of it, just because it is absolutely heart-wrenching in all the good ways, and I did really enjoy the ending. And this little bird here is saying I love Frank, because that's how I feel about it. All right, Wayward, hard, all the trigger warnings, witchy goodness. I've seen people say like it's a book about trauma and generational trauma. Yes, how about it's a book about strength and shared strength of women being passed down. Now, I will say I have a lot of that in my family. Like, that's something that I personally feel like maybe I'm getting woo-woo, whether you're religious or woo-woo or whatever. Just like that you could call upon your ancestors. I really get that out of this story. All right, you haven't seen this page yet. This was one of my November reads, and this is The Correspondent by what's it called? Virginia Evans. I was going to say by Sybil Van Anthrop, which it kind of is. It is the story of Sybil Van Anthrop completely through letters and emails. So, those of you who know me know I'm an avid letter writer. I've been pen paling for most of my life, over half my life now. So the fact that this book is done completely through letters and emails is a must for those of us in the snail mail community. And you can see I've got all these like letter bits. And I liked that the main character, it was not that likable, but I was still very invested. This is a quick read. It's not, oops, sorry, I'm watching a YouTuber doing book vlogs and I accidentally hit the mouse. So yeah, I really liked that the character had flaws, but I didn't hate her. And the storytelling through letters, I don't know how Virginia did this, but it was absolutely brilliant. And then this page I just did today, Little Women. I had to. Little Women, like I think I said this already, I believe was read to me at some point, and I love, this illustrator's escaping my mind. I will try and link it down below. I love this illustration so much. In high school, I actually played Amy, who I identify with the least. However, all of the March sisters and Marmee, all of them, I feel like I've got some of them in me. It made me really want to have a sister. I was struck by some of the feminism of the day in this, but also the story is a lot about morality and like doing the right thing. All of the sisters have flaws, even Miss Beth, and I feel like they are challenged to, do the right thing. I really liked that. I really liked Meg as a newlywed. You see more in this than you do in some of the film adaptations. So there's a lot of morality going on in this one. And in this one, I wanted to say too, a lot of like existential stuff came up for me. Maybe that's where I was in November too, just in my head, you know, end of the year stuff. Thinking about, like, what happens to your letters when you die? What happens to these journals when I die? You know, what happens to me? Okay, so those are some of my favorite books. This little tab here, I saved pages to do the Anne of Green Gables pages. I kind of want to do them in a sequence here, but we're going to go flip over here, and I'm going to confuse you a little bit. Sorry, I'm doing this at sundown and as a one take. Here are my top 25. Nope. These are my top 5 books of 2025. You can tell I'm not doing a voiceover and I'm just doing a one take. So I am on GoodReads, Megan's Diary, and according to GoodReads, I read 50. It was really like 50 and a half books. That's the most I've ever read in a year. I hope I don't read that many this year, because I hope I take my time. I do want to read some chunky classics. They may take more time. So some books that really stayed with me, I did read Dubliners. It was my first James Joyce that I, you know, read completely, you know, by myself, not in school. Room with a View stayed with me, and Remains of the Day. Remains of the Day was, yeah, if you've seen the film, I had not seen the film before reading it. Beautiful, beautifully done. Okay, so I put classics rereads that I enjoyed. Jane Eyre, one of my favorite books of all time. Rebecca, The Secret Garden, Anne of Green Gables, and Little Women. But my top 5 books, like new books, I guess, is what I was counting, of 2025, hands down, number 1 is The Blue Castle. I love that book. Like, I can't even explain. James, even though I didn't do a page in it, because I think I gave it 4.5 stars, by Percival Everett, excuse me. It's a little bit hard. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that I'm mixed, and so reading things about slavery, it can be hard for me, you know, because I do think about my ancestors, and it's kind of like Wayward when I was saying, like, I think about women before me. So I do think about that. James is so clever and funny and well done. It is the story of Jim, the slave in Huckleberry Finn, from his perspective. And it sounds like just, if I just said that, it's like, oh, okay, this man is a genius. I actually have another book of his on my TBR right now. Absolutely one of the, like, this book will always stay with me. The Correspondent, we kind of went over that one. Again, it was like in my 4.5 star. It's really hard to hit that 5 for me. Book rating, but it was just so different. Like, I've never read anything like it. Wayward, and then Broken Country. So I kind of touched on those. So those are my top 5 books that I read in 2025. Aren't these stickers just precious? Like, how cute is she with her little coffee and everything? And I'm sorry I'm losing the daylight here, but I did want to show you that, like my recent pages. I have actually, I'm filming this, just finished The Silent Companions, and I can't wait to talk to you about that. And earlier this month, my first read of 2026 was The God of the Woods. So there's that one too, which I really enjoyed. The God of the Woods, Silent Companions, not so much. Now that you've heard a little bit about what I like reading, and I do love rereading classics, especially stuff from my teen years, now that they are so far from me, if you have recommendations, leave them down below. Follow me on GoodReads. Let me know what you're reading. I love to hear what other people are reading as well. All right, my friends, happy reading or listening or, you know, kindling, however you take your reading. I wish you all good things in this new year to come. Take care.